Hi my dear friends, today I have a sad story. So today I have a sad story. You already saw it in the thumbnail or the video title, of course. I lost a bunch of fish. And it didn't happen yesterday, no, it happened some days ago already and some weeks ago after when I moved the tanks to this location here and the temporary holding tanks in the back. And then problems occurred. I had a Japonicus surgeonfish, or tang, or how you say, the powder brown tang, I think you say also in English. They are very sensitive for ick. We all know that, and I had this fish for 4 years almost. And I also knew that when I was working in the tank for long periods, if it was lots of maintenance or stuff, I knew that the day after this fish would have ick, but he always came through it. He always was healthy, always eating, always swimming, so I knew it wasn't a problem. But I also knew that when we would move, I was already, how you say that? I'm sorry, I don't find the words, but I knew that it was a risk, especially to move that fish for the stress. So I tried to do my best to catch him without too much stress and move him. So in the tank here behind me, there I placed most of the fish of the 170 gallon in. And of course this fish got ick, so the powder brown got ick. But then I thought, I give it a week, and when he would calm down, and he was still eating, so I think he will calm down, the stress will disappear after some time, and all would be good. But no, that wasn't what happened. So the fish got more ick and stress, and he was always nervous swimming around. And then I saw some other fish also got ick, so I knew I didn't had the place to put other tanks to set up quarantine tanks for these fish. So I think I keep them in this tank, because that are just rocks and corals in there that I didn't knew what to do with from the big tank. So the rocks with a lot of mushrooms on it and xenia, and I think these corals, they can stand a lot. So, but the fish, they got sick, and they got white spots and blurry eyes, and then I was thinking, of course, about Brooklynella. So I didn't dare anymore to catch other fish out and put them in other tanks, because I was scared that I would also infect other tanks or fish in the other tanks. So I thought I keep an eye here. I let them be in this tank. And Brooklynella, stress and maybe bad water quality, because even those rocks, and they are big rocks, had a lot of biological filtration in it, because they are rocks. They have been for 4 years, more than 4 years in my tank. But there was also nitrates, phosphates, and probably due to bad water quality also, and the stress. So my guess is Brooklynella. And it proves again that an external pot filter isn't the most effective way for salt water. But I couldn't do anything else at this time. So fish started to die, and I almost lost all fish. The only ones left in this tank are the Picasso, or the blue tang, the hippo tang, and the 6-line wrasse. All the other fish, they died. So I lost 20 fish in total, after we moved. We also had 2 jumpers, so and then one other fish in another tank that died, and I don't know why, but not all 20 were in that tank, but 17 of them. So also I had some fish in a small group, 5. I don't know the name now, but they're with the blue eyes, and they're really rare here. You never see them here in stores, and I could get them 2 years ago from a friend. They were really tiny when I bought them, and they grew a lot. So yeah, they were really nice fish. A lot, all the fish. I loved all the fish. So it's very sad that I had to see them pass away. Also the fox face, I had it from when it was really small. It was a big fish, a good fish for algae, bubble algae and stuff. Very sad to see. He was the last one that died. So for the rest in the tank, yeah, the corals doing good that are in there. They're soft corals, so no problems at all. But that tank has to go. I'm gonna see what I can do with these rocks, and maybe cut some of the mushrooms off, and or break some parts of the rocks off with the mushrooms and xenia, and use them in. I have one more big tank here that I'm gonna set up with a sump and everything to grow out corals, so to move in there, and that tank has to go. And there I want to place a quarantine system with different tanks and different sizes of tanks, so when I go for new fish, for the new build and for the fish room, that I can properly quarantine these fish. So yeah, very sad what happened, but yeah, let's go around for a little tour in this fish room and check out the other tanks, how it's going there, because okay, I also lost some corals, of course. But for the rest, the other tanks are doing good. So the first tank is an old tank of mine, my old freshwater tank that I divided in 2 a long time ago, or some years ago. So in 2 parts, one is a bigger part, the other one is a little smaller. So this part, there is one more yellow tank. My first yellow tank also died. Very sad, because I also had it more than 4 years. So, but this tank I had from a friend last year, so it's doing great. Then with the Darwin's clownfish, only one left, and that's the female. The other one, the man, the small one, disappeared. It was always here in the tank behind the rocks, but it disappeared. We searched in the tank, behind the tank, under the tank, on top of the tank. We didn't find it anywhere, not in the pipes, not in the sump, not in the overflow. Couldn't find it, so I don't know what happened with it. The small Pangai cardinal is also in here, the baby that I raised. The parents also died during all these problems here in the fish room. So yeah, but the corals are doing fine in here. Only the waving hands, they are not opening in the last week. I don't know why. There is also a small portion of them behind the green toadstool, and they are not coming out as much either, but they are having much more flow there, so maybe it's due to flow. And so I changed flow pumps, put more heavier pump on it. It's only in the first on 10% now. It's the G-Bao SWV. How do you say that? I'm sorry guys, but 20. So I have it on 10% now, and I'm gonna raise the flow just every day a little bit, so corals can adapt to the more stronger flow, and maybe that changes. The water parameters are good, and I always do every week some water changes. So the second part here is where we have our clownfish that the first fish that we had, or that I bought when I started this saltwater hobby. And they are still living in their torch coral, and For the rest of the tank here, I had on top a big colony of bird's nest, but that died off. Also the Montipora plates had problems, but the die-off stopped, and there is some living tissues and polyps still on them, so I hope they will recover. Buttons, or zoas, we call them buttons in the Netherlands, so they are doing good. Now the purple people eaters are closed, and some of the eagle eyes also, because of aptasia. You probably already saw it on camera that I have problems with some aptasia in this tank, so I need to battle that. Now, yeah, but for the rest this tank is doing good. So now if we take a look at the first frag tank I have here, you immediately see that there is a lot of algae on the bottom, and it is better now. It's starting to get better. The algae starts to be, how you say, not so dense anymore. It starts to be lighter and let loose and disappear into the filters. So it is getting better, but there is nothing in this tank anymore. You know, there isn't any fish in it or to battle it. There is no cleanup crew in it. So, and yeah, some parts I take away manually, but I let it in there. It's bothering one coral, of course, but yeah, for the rest it doesn't bother any corals. So, and I want to see how it will disappear doing water changes, and then soon I really need to add a cleanup crew. But corals are doing great, the Duncans, the Alveolepora, everything is doing good in here. So yeah, for now I will take the algae with it. So the next frag tank, you see a big difference, and this tank is already running for a longer period, so a couple of weeks longer than the other one. So it has had a small ugly stage, but not so much actually. So we also have the tang in here, of course, that eats the algae, and there are some snails in there. But for the rest, this small tank is doing good. I started dosing also. The corals are doing really good. I have this really nice small rock of wash with red mushrooms. I really like this color. Some of them that get bigger, they get also white dots. That's really nice. So, and my Akins are doing good. So most of these corals are for the new build later on, and some are for sale. So this tank is doing good. And then about the lights that I'm running on the Micmol lights, I really like the lights. A really nice color, corals coloring, and they normally were for the new build, but to be honest, I don't think these are enough. I knew that 2 wouldn't be enough anyway. I would also add some T5s, but now I want to change that plan, because then I need to add lots of more T5s, or I need to add more of these lights, but then still I don't know if they will penetrate deep enough to get the desired intensity to the bottom, or the desired bar to the bottom of the new tank. So I decided to go with new other lights, but that I will keep secret now. But for these frag tanks and for some smaller tanks, I think this is a really nice, cheap light. And they're gonna have soon new controller also, much easier to use controller, and you will be able to connect more lights to one controller. Now you can only connect one light, so every light needs its own controller, but soon that will be better. Yeah, so that's about the fish room and the sad story that happened in the last weeks after we moved here. Yeah, thank you all for listening and watching, and then I hope to see you soon again with better news and more successes again. So we keep in touch. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.